Martinez, and I want to welcome you to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a delicious paella full of chicken, chorizo, shrimp, clams, and mussels. Then we're going to try an aromatic vegetarian paella with baby artichoke hearts and baby peas.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshall's. Brand names for less.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind. Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy Micro Bubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo, cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.
Hola! I'm so excited today. Guess what we're doing? We're making paella today, and to me, nothing says festive as much as paella. It's a party dish, and people get real excited when they see it, and it's really impressive. It's a series of little steps, and at the end of it, you've got this beautiful, gorgeous mosaic of color and texture and flavor. It's absolutely delicious. Let's get started, shall we? I have some achiote seeds here. I'm never without achiote seeds in my kitchen. Achiote seeds grow in a bush. There's these little pods, and when it's ripe, it kind of bursts open, and you can see these beautiful little seeds inside. So achiote seeds are something that I like to use a lot of the time instead of saffron. The achiote lends such a lovely flavor to pretty much anything that you add it to. You can add it to soups, to stews. When I use achiote seeds, I like to use olive oil. It needs moderate heat because olive oil doesn't have a high smoke point, and so if you heat it too high, the achiote seeds will burn. They turn black, the oil turns green, and there's really no salvaging that. You have to throw it away and start from scratch. But if you treat your achiote oil gently, it's going to give you a beautiful colored and flavored oil. It's the color of the sunset. There's no other way that I could describe it. It really is rich. The flavor is unique but subtle, and it's very, very accessible and inexpensive. So, hello, why not? Okay, we had the little twinkle thing going on in our achiote pan, and that's when you want to start watching for color and lower your heat. Just swirl that around. And I'm going to go ahead and strain the seeds out of the oil right there. Okay, and I can set this aside and bring my paellera over to my flame. Let's season the chicken a little bit, a little salt. I have about a 4-pound chicken here. It's cut into 10 pieces. I'm using a whole chicken. You don't have to. Do you want to do chicken thighs? Do you want to do chicken legs? I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken in at medium height, and we're going to watch it very carefully because I don't want that achiote oil to burn. What I do want it to do is to lend some color and flavor to my chicken, and then I'm going to throw some chorizo in there, and that's going to flavor the achiote oil as well. And you'll notice that the pan is not saying a lot to me. It's not making my happy sizzle noise. And the reason for that is it's on medium heat. I want to gently, very carefully, give the chicken some color, brown the chicken without burning the achiote oil, because that'll affect the flavor of my rice. And even with all the stuff in a paella, my favorite part of a paella is the rice. And because I'm doing this at such a moderate temperature, it's going to take between 10 and 13 minutes. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? While that's browning, I'm going to go ahead and partially cover it just to stop the splatter of the oil. I don't want to completely cover and steam the chicken. I just want to stop the splatter from going all over everything. Going to the refrigerator, we're going to get our seafood. I've got some very pretty mussels, pristine. I mean, these are the cultivated mussels, and some very lovely clams. And I have some lovely shrimp here. You don't need to get the Super Deluxe Delight Jumbo Big Mac Daddy shrimp for paella because there's so much going on. It's really overkill. I have a couple of shrimp left here to clean. And I'm leaving the tails on the shrimp, just a little last knuckle of the tail, which is a source of constant irritation to my son Eric, because he says, Ma, then you gotta cut around it. Like, Eric, that should be your worst problem. It looks pretty, you know, it's the aesthetic. Tails off or leave the tails on, whatever makes you happy, do. And I'm just taking the vein out of the shrimp. Some people don't do that. My mother would have my head. So my personal preference is to devein the shrimp. If your mom taught you the other way, then, you know, that's just great. Let me just check my chicken. Remember, your chicken doesn't have to be cooked all the way through because it will finish cooking with the rest of the ingredients in the paella. You just want a little bit of color, very much like this. And I'm going to go ahead and take it out now. And you'll see, happily, that my achiote oil is still a beautiful red. And that's because I was very careful with the temperature. I'm adding some chorizo now, and I just want that to get a little color, and I want it to lend its fragrance to my achiote oil. That's one more step, one more rung on the ladder. You'll hear me use that term a lot. I like to think of making a dish like this as taking steps up on a ladder. Every ingredient that you add is one step closer to your destination, to the top of the ladder. I love chorizo. I love the way it smells. I love the way it tastes. I love the texture of it. Chorizo is a Spanish cured sausage with garlic and paprika. And to me, there's just nothing like it. If you can't get chorizo, you'll want to use something like andouille sausage. And as a last resort, use Italian sausage. I can smell the chorizo all over, which is telling me that it's ready. And I happen to have some sofrito in my freezer. Sofrito is an aromatic puree of onions, garlic, tomatoes, sweet red bell peppers, green peppers, ajicitos dulces if you can find them, cilantro, and culantro. Or if you can't find culantro, you could use more cilantro. And sofrito is something that I have in my freezer all the time. When I make it in large batches. And what I do is I use what I need, and then the rest of it I put in little plastic bags, and I put them in the freezer. And when I need it, I just take out a little plastic bag, run it under some hot water to loosen it out of the plastic bag, and then I have this beautiful instant sofrito. What could make me happier? Not a thing. Okay, and I'm just giving it a little heat here so that it finishes melting into the achiote oil and the chorizo. This already smells unbelievable. It's just incredible how delicious this smells. And because I put sofrito in cold, I've lost some heat in this pan. I'm just gonna stir things around a little bit. We wanna get that heat back. When I put sofrito in a pan like this, it just wakes everything up. Everything. The kids come running down the stairs. What's for dinner? What's going on? I'm going to add about half a cup maybe of alcaparrado. Alcaparrado is another one of those little things that do yourself a favor. Keep some in the fridge because it helps you out of a multitude of emergencies. And alcaparrado is an olive salad with pitted olives and capers and roasted red pimentos. If you can't find alcaparrado, just throw some together and hello, you have alcaparrado. Okay? And this is coming back up to heat and looking very, very happy. And I can finally introduce the rice to sofrito. It's a marriage made in heaven. Here we go. I think I'll just make 3 cups. And I raise the heat because I want to fix the color of the achiote oil and the sofrito to the rice. Otherwise, when I add the broth that I'm cooking the rice in, it'll wash the color away, and I certainly don't want that. I want beautiful, gorgeous, aromatic, yellow rice. I know that I'm going to hear from a lot of you saying, I went to Spain and the rice that they made their paella with was not long grain. Yes, that's true. I went to Spain too, and I had wonderful meals in Spain, but when I sat down and had my paella, I looked up and I said, mine's better. And I like mine better because I use long grain rice. And I use long grain rice because the rice ends up being more fluffy, looser, and doesn't stick together as much. You see how the rice is getting chalky over here? You see that? It looks chalky. That means that the color is fixed and we're ready for some broth. And I'm going to crank the heat all the way up high now because I want this to come to a boil rather quickly. You can cook your paella in chicken broth, you can cook your paella in beef broth, you can cook your paella in water. I like to cook my paella in clam juice because I just think it makes your whole paella so much more redolent of the ocean. Let me go ahead and add the chicken because it's what takes the most to cook. The fish are done fairly quickly. Okay, now that this is at a nice happy bubble, I'm going to start adding the shellfish. I have my clams swimming in a little solution of salt water and cornmeal, a little tip that a little fishmonger in Brooklyn gave me a while back. His dad, who was a fishmonger, taught him that if you take clams and you soak them in ice cold water with salt and a tablespoon of cornmeal, the clams will eat the cornmeal and spit out the sand that they have so that when you cook them, they don't release sand into your food. I tried it and you know what? It worked like a charm. I've been doing it ever since. So salt water and cornmeal for your clams. And these mussels are cultivated mussels. They are pristine. I can't even find a beard on these babies. They're just absolutely beautiful. And you know, when you buy mussels, you want them to be closed nice and tight. Any open ones you should probably discard. Just tuck them in where you see a little spot. Just nuzzle them in, okay? And since the shrimp are the things that cook most quickly, I'm just going to give the shellfish a little chance to start releasing their juices, and then I'll add the shrimp. This is getting to the stage where I'm going to want to add the shrimp. And I'm going to lower the heat, cover my paella, and we're going to look at it in 20 minutes. It may take a little longer, 25 to 30. You just have to judge. I always check after 20 minutes and then we can take it from there. In the meantime, while this is happening, let's roast some peppers. Sweet bell pepper. I like to use the red because I think it just looks pretty. You can use red and yellow. You can use whatever color you want, whatever makes you happy. And roasting a pepper is not a big production. I take my peppers and I put them right on the burner. Turn the pepper and blacken the skin. And what might look to you like a disaster, because what are you doing? You're burning the peppers. No, I'm removing the tough outer skin that you really don't see. But when you cook a pepper, it tends to curl and separate, and you don't want that. In addition to that, you're really bringing out the flavors of the pepper and brings out its sweetness. And it's really quite delicious. This is exactly how my abuela used to do it on her stove. I used to watch her for hours. When I was a little girl, I remember being at the dentist's office, and the dentist, my dentist was Italian, and his mother lived over his office. And one day he was working on my teeth and I smelled roasted peppers. And I was like, oh my God, does your grandma live here? Because my grandma would always roast peppers and it smelled just like that. So he left and said, no, that's my mom and she makes stuffed peppers. My grandma makes stuffed peppers too. So it was like a bonding moment for me and my dentist. Okay, and look, you can see the skin turning black and blistering. And you just very gradually rotate the pepper, rotate the pepper. You can see there, just like big blisters. Okay, so here it is. I mean, this definitely looks like something that's ready for your trash. In fact, this is a little jewel. And I have my damp paper towels here, just like Abuela showed me. And I just wrap it up and set it aside for a minute to cool. This is the great thing about having a glass top on my paellera, is that I can actually peek inside and see what's going on. And the shrimp are starting to turn opaque and flour out, and some of the clams are starting to peep open, and it looks like it's pretty close. So I'm going to head on over to the fridge, and I have some lovely peas. And you know what? Frozen peas work very well. They're defrosted. I'm going to go ahead and use them as part of the garnish on my paella. Because my paella is close, I got maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Look at that. Wow, is that gorgeous? And I'm going to cover that up, and I can clean my pepper in the time that it takes those peas to come to temperature. And I'm going to show you how to clean it. We're going to take the top right off it, and it releases liquid, all that steam build up inside. And take the tail off, and I'm going to slit the side, open it up, and take the ribs and the seeds out. And then I'm going to turn it over, and with the side of my knife, I'm going to scrape this right off. And this is why I don't pay $4.99 a pound for roasted peppers. And mine, you know, are delicious and tasty, and it took me no time at all, a minimum of effort, and look how pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut some strips. Paella time. Dun, da, da, da. What do you think? I think it's absolutely beautiful. Look at the rice, nice and loose. Look how beautiful this is. The peas are nice and hot. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, and I'm going to add my roasted peppers. A little touch of color, as if it wasn't gorgeous enough. My mouth is watering. Okay, what am I going to eat? I got a clam and some shrimp, some chorizo and a mussel, some chicken. Tell me when to stop. And a little more rice. Wow. I am so happy. I got paella. I got chorizo. I got the little ocean thing happening. I got a little shrimp here. I'm sorry, but I stand by what I said. I was right. Mine is better. Try the paella. You saw me make it. It's not that hard. It's incredibly delicious. It's absolutely beautiful. And it'll be a huge hit at your next party. Buen provecho. So if you come to my house, you're going to get a traditional, beautiful paella with chorizo and chicken and shellfish. But you may prefer a vegetarian paella, and I'm going to teach you how to make that today. Now, I usually keep a little package of frozen artichokes in the freezer, but I saw these little baby artichokes, and they just look too beautiful to pass up. So I've done quite a few of them already. I'm just going to take off the tough outer leaves. I'm going to trim the stem here, and then just take, with my knife, my paring knife, and just cut down, just like that, right down the stem. I love artichokes. Oh my goodness, I love artichokes in any guise or form. I like them stuffed. I like them braised. I'm going to trim the top, and then I'm going to cut it in half. And because they're so young, these artichokes have no choke in them. So the whole entire thing is edible. And I'm setting them here in acidulated water with lemons because once you cut into them, they have a tendency to discolor and turn dark. I want the pretty yellows and greens of the artichoke to come up in my paella. And I have some water boiling here. And I'm going to set these artichokes to blanch because they're going to take a little longer than the rest of the vegetables to cook. Those are going to go about 5 minutes, I would say, and they'll continue to cook in the paella. I'm going to salt the water a little bit and just partially cover so that it comes to a rather quick boil. In the meantime, I have my achote oil ready, and I have my miracle sofrito ready, and I'm going to go ahead and add that. And to that sofrito, I'm going to add alcaparrado. Because we're not using anything but vegetables, we can really crank up the spices on this paella. And it's really going to be an incredibly flavorful paella, even though there's just vegetables in it. My pan is making happy noises. I like that. Let's throw in some cumin. Cumin is one of those spices that I love, love, love. Some pepper. And I could really add pepper. It's not going to be spicy, but it'll have a wonderful fragrance, and you know, that's what I want. And it's starting to smell like good things in my kitchen again. Now I'm going to add my rice. Need a nice high temperature to fix the color to the rice. Salt. It really isn't as much as it looks. Don't look at me that way. It's not as much as it looks, really. Wait till you taste the paella. This looks very happy. I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit, and I'm going to start adding my vegetables. I have some cultivated mushrooms I've sliced. I'm going to add those. They release a little water in the heat, but you don't have to worry about that because we're going to be adding vegetable broth to cook our paella in today. And then I have some lovely string beans. Adding those. And my artichokes are just lovely. Okay, so we have these beautiful artichokes, and I have some vegetable stock that I'm going to use. And now we're back to the two-finger rule. For those of you not yet tired of hearing me say it over and over, my two-finger rule is you need 2 fingers of fluid above the level of the rice. That looks like a little less than 2 fingers. I'm going to just add some water to it. And I have this beautiful water that I cooked the artichokes in, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use exactly that. There we go, and that's making me very happy. And now I'm going to crank the heat all the way up. I have a girlfriend, Lonnie, who told me that her mother taught her, she's Asian, that it's a knuckle. So I put it to the test, and it's a knuckle and 2 fingers using my spoon to measure, and you know what? It absolutely works out. I'm going to wait for it to come to the boil, and then I'm going to stir it. We're going to add the peas, and in 20 minutes we're going to have a beautiful vegetarian paella. As you can see, the level of the fluid has met the level of the rice, so we're ready to lower the heat now. I'm going to turn my paella. Very lovely. Give that a shake. I'm going to give these peas a little sprinkle. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to cover it. And I have nothing to say to this paella for 20 minutes. I'll be back. It's been 20 minutes, and now I'm back to check on our vegetable paella. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Look how pretty this is. The rice is nice and loose and fluffy. The color is gorgeous. The vegetables are done beautifully. Turn this off. I've got a platter over here, and we're going to take care of this paella in no time flat. And here we go. You could add celery, you could add carrots, you could add whatever it is that you like. Make it your own. Play with the recipe until it becomes something that is your signature, that says you. Okay, what do you think? I think it looks like lunch. Now I have some lovely, lovely Cerignola olives, and I know you're going to say, but you put olives in it before. Yeah, that was to help flavor the rice. Look how beautiful. These are just absolutely jewels. And Cerignola olives are large Italian olives. They're so meaty. And these are not pitted, but they are just delicious. And I just think they make a really pretty addition to our plate. Just a little parsley for sparkle, you know, that little freshness at the end. My mouth is watering. And I'm going to get my fork and taste. Beautiful. I'm getting the brine of the olives. I'm getting a little hint of pepper, the delicateness of the artichokes. The string beans have soaked in the vegetable broth and the taste of the achote. It's absolutely lovely. Promise me you're going to try it. You'll be so happy that you did.
Daisy Cooks, Latin Flavors That Will Rock Your World, is the full-color hardcover companion cookbook to this series. To order, call 800-336-1917. Daisy's top 10 basics and over 200 of her detailed recipes are included in this 320-page book. The price is $29.95. You can order your copy of Daisy Cooks by calling the toll-free number or order online at her website, daisycooks.com.
Hola, it's Daisy. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at daisycooks.com. Tell me what you think. Sign up for my newsletter and get recipes and tips in English and Spanish. It's all at daisycooks.com.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshall's. Brand names for less.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind. Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy micro bubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo. Cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.